Now we'll start with the atypical ribs, which are the first, second, 10th, 11th and 12th. First we'll start with the first rib. The first rib is the shortest and hardest and most acutely curved. The shaft of the first rib is flattened above downwards, so that it has upper surface and the lower surface, inner border and the outer border. The head of the first rib is small and rounded and bears a single facet. Previously we have seen that in the typical ribs there are two facets, and in the first rib there is one facet. Now, and it articulates with the side of first thoracic vertebra. The angle and the tubercle of the first rib coincide here, and it has no costal groove like the typical rib. The neck is rounded one and elongated, and it is directed upward, backward and laterally. The anterior end is larger and thicker. The side determination of the first rib. In this, the larger end, which is directed anteriorly, and the smaller end is directed posteriorly. The concave surface or concave border lies medially, and the convex border lies laterally. On the upper surface of the first rib, on the shaft, it's having two grooves. On two grooves, and which is separated by a sharp ridge. So this is the rough surface and having a ridge and two grooves on the upper surface, and the lower surface of the first rib is smooth. The features of the first rib. The inner border it presents a scalene tubercle. The scalene tubercle about in its the middle, and the tubercle and the adjoining part of the upper surface it provide attachment to the scalaneous anterior muscle. It provide attachment to the Simpson's fascia, which is also known as suprapleural membrane. The outer border it provide attachment to the first digitation of the serratus anterior in its middle part, the red one area, and just behind to the groove for subclavian artery. Here is the groove for subclavian artery. Just behind to that there is the first digitation of the serratus anterior muscle. On the upper surface it is crossed obliquely by the two shallow grooves which we have seen earlier. In this grooves, the anteriorly there is the subclavian vein, and the anterior groove is known lodges the subclavian vein, and the posterior groove it lodges the subclavian artery, which is in the red color, and subclavian vein is denoted by the blue color. The area behind the posterior groove up to the costal tubercle, it is having or provide the attachment for the scalaneus medius muscle. There is the insertion for the scalaneus medius muscle, and the area in front of the anterior groove near the anterior end it provide attachment to the subclavius muscle, which is in the red color, and the costoclavicular ligament posteriorly, which is in the green color. The lower surface of the first rib it is related to the costal pleura. Now the neck it is elongated and directed upward, backward and laterally, and some structures are related to the neck of the first rib from medial to lateral part in the medial sympathetic chain, then first posterior intercostal vein, then superior intercostal artery, and the ventral ramus of the first thoracic nerve. These are the structures related to the neck of the first rib. In this diagram, we can see the relations from medial to lateral side, sympathetic chain, first posterior intercostal vein, superior intercostal artery, and the ventral ramus of T1 spinal nerve. And the memory trick for this is the chain pulling the van, CVAN. Now the second rib. The length of the second rib is just twice to that of the first rib. This is the first rib and this is the second. The length of this second rib is just twice to the first one. Now Its shaft is the sharply or highly curved. Its shaft is not twisted, hence the both end of the rib touch the tabletop when we place it. Near the middle of the shaft, the outer convex surface of this second rib, it presents a rough impression or prominent tubercle where the attachment of the serratus anterior muscle occur. On the lower part of the first and the whole of the second digitation of the serratus anterior muscle. The outer surface of shaft is directed outward and upward, while the inner surface of the shaft is directed inward and downward. So this is outer surface, this is inner surface. It is directed downward and it is directed upward and outward. The posterior part of the internal surface present a short costal groove. This is the short costal groove present on the second rib. The upper border and the adjoining part of the upper surface, it provide attachment to the scalenus posterior muscle and the serratus posterior superior muscle. So it is having three attachment: the origin of serratus anterior muscle and insertion of two muscle which are scalenus posterior and the serratus posterior superior muscles. Now the 10th rib. The 10th rib has single articular facet on the head and it is slightly shorter than the typical rib. 11th rib has a single large articular facet on the head and it has no head and no tubercle. The anterior end is pointed because it does not articulate with the sternum and it is tipped with the cartilage. It is lightly angled and the shallow costal groove and has a inner surface is directed upward and inward. Now the 12th rib. The 12th rib has same features as of the 11th, but it does not have any angle and it does not have any costal groove and it is much shorter than the 11th rib. The side of the 12th rib is determined by keeping the rib in such a way that the pointed end, it lies anteriorly or directed anterolaterally and it is broader end which lies posteromedially. Its slightly concave surface faces inward and upward and the sharp border is directed inferiorly. So this is the 12th rib of left side. Now attachments. On the outer surface near the tip of the 12th rib, it provides attachment to the latissimus dorsi muscle above and the external oblique muscle below. So these are two origins on the 12th rib. Now in its the medial part or medial half, it provides attachment to the erector spinae muscle or insertion of the erector spinae muscle. In the inner surface, the oblique line is crossing in the middle of it and it line of the pleural reflection. The lower part of the medial half provide attachment to the quadratus lumborum. Then middle 2/3, the middle 2/4 near the upper border, it provide attachment to the internal intercostal muscle or insertion of the internal intercostal muscle. The upper part of the lateral 1/4 near the tip, it provide attachment or origin for the diaphragm. Then on the lower surface, it close to the head of the 12th rib, it provide attachment to the lumbocostal ligaments or the lateral arcuate ligament is attached to the just lateral to the quadratus lumborum. On the upper border, it provide attachment to the external and internal intercostal muscle on the inner and the outer and the inner lips. So these are the features of the atypical ribs.